And tonight, we're announcing our stay-at-home emergency declarations, ordering residents to stay at home unless they are leaving for an essential or exempted activity. So I am issuing a declaration of public health emergency, order number 5, which adds more restrictions on public gatherings to prevent the possible spread of the coronavirus.
You don't know who could have the virus.
My mother and my stepfather both tested positive.
This thing is moving at a rapid rate where it's killing people very quickly.
The novel coronavirus has made its way to the United States with a confirmed case.
There's currently no vaccine outbreak.
The world economy has been rocked by
Our lives is more important than money, right?
Wow, I can't believe I have it.
It's been a big impact on my family.
When it hit San Antonio, I was just really nervous.
My business has 100% been affected by this.
Coronavirus.
Coronavirus.
The coronavirus.
Coronavirus.
I'm declaring a public health emergency of international concern over the global outbreak of novel coronavirus.
The very first time I heard about COVID-19 was probably around Christmas time and New Year's, and it was something that was very alarming because we're enjoying the holidays, and that's something that you kind of don't want to hear on the new year when you're making your resolution.
I heard about it from my customer when I was at work. It was in December of 2019. I think it was in Wuhan, China. He was telling me that there was somebody that was infected from the COVID-19. But since it was that far away, I didn't really take it seriously at that time.
It was probably sometime in November, December. I was really sick. And one of my good nurse friends, she was like, hey, there's this outbreak in China, and it's like they're shutting down, they're doing all this crazy stuff in China, like it's really bad out there. I blew it off. I didn't think it was anything. And it's crazy because go figure, I think I might have been sick with COVID at that time already.
I was a police officer, and I worked in the intelligence office, so I heard that this virus was coming around and that it could be deadly. It kind of started off as a joke, kind of started off as, oh, it's just the flu, like who cares? But then the federal government got involved and said, hey guys, we're going to start shutting things down.
I remember distinctly because we were celebrating my birthday, and that was our last outing. It was February 15th, so we did brunch with all of our friends, and luckily we all got to hang out that time, but that was the absolute last time. I think we shut down the city pretty close to that after. It was, and then I distinctly remember March, because that's when we had our first COVID command staff, with the sheriff's office. And that was where we started shutting down units and delegating cleaning and just the PPE with county and facilities. But it was crazy. It was already hitting.
Early part of February, we heard all the cruise ships that were being rerouted to different ports, I guess, because there's so many people sick on the ships and they were trying to figure a place to put them. I remember them talking about all the construction that was going on in China at the time too. So they built a big hospital really quick. it was in record time so that they could house all the people that were sick there.
First time I talked about COVID-19 in the news was, I want to say back in February when we saw that viral video out of China. We were covering it from afar. We were talking about what was happening internationally in China, and we saw that viral video of all those construction cranes and them putting together this hospital in China in just a number of days. And I remember thinking, wow, like that must be something to be going through that. And never did I imagine back then that we'd be dealing with it on the scale that we are here in the U.S.
In the United States with a confirmed case.
There's currently no vaccine outbreak available in many states to require shelter to resolve it like.
The NBA season, following tonight's action, has officially been suspended for the time being.
We heard about when the NBA had its first case with Rudy Gobert.
Canceling the NBA, I think, was the one that stood out to me, where I realized, like, oh, this is a real thing.
We were watching it. I remember sitting here at home with my wife, watching TV here at the house, and I remember that moment that the game was stopped. The team doctors had come out and basically said that the teams were on the floor, they're getting ready to go at it, and the doctor came out and shut the whole thing down because one of the players had tested positive.
The game tonight has been postponed. You are all safe. And thank you for coming out tonight.
After that, it just really quickly, it was like a snowball effect. It seemed like everything, the whole country started shutting down after that. Something big was coming, and a big situation that we don't want.
First time I heard about COVID-19 was on the news when they were talking about it in China. And obviously they followed it very closely. So as soon as we had a case in the USA, we knew about it. But I think at the same time we were getting cancellations for our show. People were calling up saying, hey, we don't want to come to Texas. We don't want to come to San Antonio. We're a little bit worried about this COVID-19. And when that started picking up momentum and we were getting more cancellations than we were bookings, then we knew this was a thing and people were worried about it.
I remember seeing on television, it gave us the impression we need to go to the grocery store. Like, I just remember that feeling. I was in the thick of the very first hour of grocery urgency. We were at H-E-B. We walked in, everything was peaceful, super normal. And I specifically remember behind us, people coming into H-E-B. The minute we went to the toilet paper aisle, it was completely empty. And right then I took a picture and I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be something. And then the memory I remember is walking out of H-E-B and just having tons of people walk out with me with hordes and hordes of groceries. We were there for that first hour when the world changed.
First impression, finding out about cases in San Antonio was very alarming. I was shook. Was like, there's no way that this thing could travel in this amount of time. It's like something you watch in a movie. When I heard that they were bringing some of the U.S. citizens from China to Lackland, there was a lot of questions in my mind, like, well, why are we providing these services for people? But at the same time, I'm like, well, we're a military city, we're a supporting city, and we're also a big medical city. So hearing that they were bringing these people here was scary at first, but I knew that they were making sure that they were containing it.
Initially, the city had received some patients from the Diamond Princess cruise ship that were going to be at Lackland Air Force Base. And so initially when we covered that, it was, okay, there's none in our community. They're just coming to San Antonio. Lackland Air Force Base is going to take care of them. And so, again, it felt like you were just kind of watching it from afar. And then I think it was mid-March when we saw our first case in the community. And that moment was, concerning. And now it has the capacity to spread?
It was shocking, and for the fact that it was a part of really the military and them relocating people that were infected with COVID-19 to San Antonio for quarantine. We all, I think, were not expecting that to happen. Or even, San Antonio being as resourceful it is in the military, we are Military City USA. So having these resources and having the precautions ready to go, I think, was very helpful.
San Antonio, is one of those places where they send people, right? We had, a lot of the refugees here before, and so when they sent people to Lackland, I wasn't super surprised, but I remember when the person that, had gotten done with their quarantine went to the North Star Mall and then tested positive.
As mayor of this city, I find it totally unacceptable that CDC would release a patient prior to receiving all test results and potentially expose the public to this harm.
And they shut down the mall and they did the whole big thing. I remember driving over the overpass and the mall was shut down and the parking lot was empty. And I remember telling my wife, I was like, get a video of this. This is gonna be memorable. Like that time they shut down the North Star Mall. This is crazy. They shut down the whole mall. Little did I know, a couple weeks later they were gonna be shutting down the whole country.
Following the World Health Organization's decision to declare the 2019 novel coronavirus a public health emergency of international concern, I have today declared that the coronavirus presents a public health emergency in the United States.
So we just started preparing our staff at the county. Our BCIT department was very quick to provide everybody to be able to have the option to work from home. So when the judge came out with the stay-at-home order, we were ready to work from home and have our employees that can work from home.
Never seen anything like this. We're working to balance the needs to protect the public from the spread of COVID-19 and at the same time trying to preserve jobs and people's livelihoods. Today, Mayor Nurenberger and I are announcing a policy that instructs our citizens to stay at home where we can play safe and work safe.